Welcome to the Cherry Picker After Dark, the Patreon exclusive version of the horror movie podcast where we like to kill people, but not really. I'm your host, Zack Cherry. With me as always is...
I don't have a quote because we're not talking about one thing, so I'll just, where do we go from here?
Because we're talking about franchises.
Hi.
Horror franchises. Where do we go from here?
I have no idea.
I mean, I thought maybe you would like pull out a just because we were just talking about it before we turned on the
Out of
Betsy
my
Palmer.
face! Out of my face!
Well, there's that. Out of my face. Or he wasn't a very good swimmer.
He wasn't a very good swimmer. Why were you inching? Nobody's gonna get that.
No. This is just like that's our warm up before we usually turn on
Just the
microphones and the camera. Just talking nonsense.
People
know that by now. But
right?
Anyway, franchises. Where do we go from here? This episode is going to just talk about all of the current, I mean, mostly current, but the big franchises and some little franchises. You know, we'll see what we hit. And we're just going to discuss, you know, what's next for them. Like, do they need a sequel, remake, prequel, TV series, or just leave it the hell alone and never look back? And this is a kind of a big debate among a lot of people. I mean, like, IP in general is what the system likes to glom towards because it's just cheaper to produce or just market. It's got a built-in
recognizable IPs, yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, everyone says, like, we need new stuff, but inevitably we always get sequels. I mean, like, look at, I think last or this past month on the podcast, we covered what was it? We did Nightmare on Elm Street 5, we did Psycho 3, and then I believe initially, because we did The Substance last week, but we were just like, how about whatever part 6? And I was just like, well, you know, like,
we've done a lot of sequels. Yeah, you did say that.
It's like a month full of sequels. So, but that's just the natural inclination. It's just like we talk about sequels, we talk about franchises because it's a fun topic to discuss. So
there's always something to say.
Absolutely, and some people just, you know, would want to do away with any continuation of franchises entirely, and some people only want these franchises to keep going and going. I mean, Saw, apparently, did you hear the...
Oh, yes, I did.
So, Saw 11, Saw XI...
Soxy.
Is, I guess, canceled and like permanently. It's just
what does that even mean?
I didn't I didn't look into what it was, but it seemed like there was, you know, creative differences in the higher ups or something. I don't know.
Just more bad news. I was like, so these days I just kind of stick to the headlines unless I need to know details. But with that one, I was just kind of like, great. And they just kept, you know, like, ironically, I didn't really mean it. I wasn't sincerely going, great. No, because I wanted to see the next Saw movie, whatever it is. And that's another reason why this is like a good topic, I think, also, is because I don't think either of us have like a hard, fast rule about either one and done or sequels, requels, reboots forever. Let them all live. Or reboots okay, requels not. You know, like, I mean, it is kind of like a case-by-case basis. And because you and I rarely see eye to eye on these kinds of things, I think it's going to make for an interesting discussion.
I think it'll be really fun. And there might be some surprising franchises that we mention here, but what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of do a rapid fire round first. And when I say rapid fire, I mean like imagine us rapid firing, where it's just like, well, let's just talk about this thing for like 5 minutes. We'll try not to do that, but that'll be the intent. Before we move into more of the bigger franchises, and then like ending with, like, you know, the big ones. and what we think of next. But before we begin, I just want to remind everyone that this is a Patreon episode. So if you're listening to this regularly or watching it on YouTube, this is just going to be the preview. Head over to my Patreon, which is patreon.com/ZackCherry, and subscribe at the Freddy Krueger tier, and you'll get access to this full episode, as well as all of our past Cherry Picker After Darks. Edward, do you remember some of the topics that we've discussed in the past?
We've done a bunch of Survivor, Scream Survivor, Final Girls Survivor. We've discussed midnight camp classic type movies, ranging from Mommy Dearest to Wild Things and
Jawbreaker.
Yeah, words fail me. A lot. We talk about a lot.
We've done a lot of rankings.
Yes,
that's a
Final
big
Girl
thing.
rankings. Did we do Slasher too? Did we get
We
to
did.
that? I don't even
We
remember.
must have. Like I've lost track. For all I know,
So
we've
have I.
already talked about this subject in this episode. Last week we did. I guess I can say it. Fuck, Marry, Kill, the Scream franchise.
Last month. Yeah.
Did I say last year?
I think you said last week. That's what I heard.
I don't know.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, last century. We've been doing this for a while, so there's
1900s.
hours and hours of just bonus content of Edward and myself just bickering. So if that's something that you enjoy, you head over there and again, subscribe at the Freddy Krueger tier. Even if you're just subscribing at the regular tier, though, you will get early access rather, to all of our episodes, regular episodes. So if you've been with the podcast for a while, or you're just coming on board and you want to give a little bit back, that's something that you can consider. And I do want to shout out some of my upper tier Patreon supporters. So the Michael Myers, thank you to Kyle Beard, Maxime Rivest, Ali Hamouche, Shane Allingham, Tim McKay, Stephanie Starbright, Horror Slut 95, Traj 125, Bruce the Genetic, Jackhammer Rando, Gary Blasick, Michael Boswell, and then the Ghost Faces, Eric Champney, Sam Levy, Daniel Saturn, Baby Ghoul, Garrison Nichols, and Craig Lynn.
Yay!
Thank you.
Huzzah!
Huzzah!
a
Now,
new one.
it is. Without any further ado, let's start with, I guess, the rapid fire. And I think for most of these, we're just going in alphabeutical order.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, I mean, it's just easier because then, I mean, it's like the opening credits to Melrose Place. Nobody gets preferential treatment except for.
I love that we both kind of went back to the 90s, though, because I was thinking it's like a horror shelf in Blockbuster, you know, alphabetical. Yeah.
Or what's the thing that always pisses you off when, like, there's the two actor names at the top of the thing, but one is like positioned higher and to the left.
Like the one on the left, the one on the left is positioned lower and the one on the right is positioned higher. I'm doing the reverse if you're watching this, but it would look like that, but
Halloween
just to try and give them even
Jamie Lee Curtis and Donald,
and it's like it just looks better if they're both sharing the same bill.
I think that they did that for Cruel Intentions as well, because it was like Sarah Michelle Gellar and Ryan Phillippe.
Oh, God.
I know. Just pick a lane. Make up your mind.
It just looks staggered and it looks disorganized and it looks like somebody messed up on the promotional art, and just make it look like a movie poster. Come on.
Yeah, for sure.
If Betty Davis and Joan Crawford got past it, we can.
I don't think they got past it.
No, they got past it. They were in agreement. They drew straws or something, and that's how they decided who was going to be billed first.
I mean, professionally, they got past it. But personally,
they got past it enough for it to not be. Betty Davis wasn't like, "Ha, name shall never be higher than mine." It was never anything like that.
Anyway, going in alphabetical order. Okay.
Yeah.
American Psycho, which franchise? So here, I also should preface this by saying that a franchise is a franchise if there is more than one movie. That's typically the rule. Like I don't buy Mindy's little Scream 6 speech. It's like, we're in a franchise now because it's 6 movies, and it's just like, this has been a franchise since 1997.
I have called movies where there are 2 a franchise before, and you've told me it's not a franchise. But
probably, I don't know
whether it was an actual remake or something like that, like The Thing or something like that. You'd be like, well, that's not a franchise. I'd be like, well, anyway.
I said no, or
yeah,
okay,
back in the day,
well,
but under explicit conditions, like you were very.
I seem to recall. Well, no, because I think it was the thing. The conversation that we had was, is it a sequel or like, is it a remake? Actually, rather,
right.
And then there was the conversation about like the Dracula movies, and just like, well, it's every incarnation of Dracula, a remake sort of thing. But I mean, whatever. Probably, like, I'm extremely contrarian, and I wear that badge proudly. I don't give a shit. What do you come for me? Whatever.
Yeah, I think we covered the same thing with House of Wax too. But anyway, for American Psycho, there are 2 movies that I know of,
and then
still haven't seen that second one.
I've seen parts of it. Well, the remake, the whether it's happening or not.
Right. Mary Herron did such a good job. I guess if we make it more closely aligned with the book, to make it a little bit more explicit and gory and horror, rather than like kind of horror adjacent, I'd go see it. Sure. Do I need it? No. I would actually much rather see a movie version of the musical. I want to see American Psycho, the movie musical, is what I want, with a proper director. How about you?
Yeah, this to me was a one and done. If there's a remake coming, I mean, I'll see it out of morbid curiosity, but I shouldn't, But yeah, just leave it alone. Leave it alone.
It's what we do. We buy tickets to movies.
Didn't even need that sequel. Okay, next up we have Anaconda, which I believe there's like 3 or 4 of them. Like, everything after the original was straight to video, and now there's a new one coming out this year at Christmas time, which is like
my God.
Paul Rudd, Jack Black, and it sounds more like a comedy.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna see it. But
yeah, I like both of those actors a lot. So sure, why not? I mean, and also it's a laughable franchise. There is nothing scary about that first movie.
I definitely feel like this deserves to be a franchise. I wish that it was a little bit more highbrow and it wasn't this straight to video fare. But I mean, like, who knows? Time will tell. I mean, maybe it needed 30 years or whatever to figure out what is this because the original did kind of take itself seriously, which kind of lended to, I guess, like the camp quality of it. But I could use more Anaconda. I'm interested to see where it goes.
Yeah, and I'm not terribly married to the original source material either, where I'd be like, okay, sequels and requels, but no remakes. Like, remake it all you want. I don't care. Do something.
Black Christmas. So everyone knows we've got the original, the 2006 remake, and then the 2019, whatever you want to call that.
I think I said as much in our pod when we recorded it. My stance has not changed on this one. I don't need another one, but if they make another one in due time, wait another 15 years and then see where we are with our perception of like young women in film and stuff like that, and maybe somebody can like hit it out of the park finally since the original. But it's too soon. I don't need. But
okay, will that be a remake again, or will that be a sequel to the original?
I don't need a sequel. I mean, okay, then again...
But why make another remake, though? Because it's like...
Because social commentary. Because things change. And not that it's been done terribly well. I think we both agreed it's been diminishing returns each movie that's been released. Yeah. But you know what? Actually, now that I'm saying it, maybe if there were a sequel to the original and they just went back to, like, the production... not design, but I guess just like what's the word? Like level, or whatever. Like make it look like the original, make it look like a true sequel.
Like
to the
it belongs in that universe. Yeah.
Yeah. I could be on board for that. Kind of like the opening flashback of Halloween Kills 2.
If I don't think it needs anything. I think that this was a perfect standalone film. But if we're gonna continue it, I'd much rather they do some sort of sequel. And even then it's just kind of like, why do we need this? So yeah, I'm not too sold on that. Blair Witch. So far I believe there's 3.
3 that I know of.
Yeah. Blair Witch Project, Book of Shadows, and then just Blair Witch. And I've only seen the original.
Oh, so. I've seen them all.
Oh, well then you have a more informed opinion on this.
Leave it alone. Create a documentary on like the making of the original, the way they do like, you know, the disastrous like, you know, production history of it and everything like that. To revamp it, to give it new blood. But I don't need a remake of it because I think I actually am a big fan of the original. I didn't like this Book of Shadows, and I liked the next one, Blair Witch, even less. I remember I was so bored. And I know some people really like it. I have yet to have that experience watching it, and I've seen it twice now, I think. So, yeah, how about you?
I mean, without having seen the sequels, I say leave it alone for the simple fact that Blair Witch Project, like for the time, was kind of like a modern day William Castle gimmick, of just sort of like, you know, just what he would do to like bring audiences to the theater. And it's just like this time it's like this really happened. These people are dead, and this was the footage found. And then it's just like, just kidding, here they are, and yada yada yada. And there was like something
Jay Leno.
Yeah, there was something like really fun about that conceit. And then like all they did was just take that. And isn't like Book of Shadows like more of a meta, like they saw the movie and they went out there, something like that?
It tries so hard to like have story on top of story and be smart, and it's just confusing and vapid is how I feel about it. Very shallow. Yeah. And that's my opinion.
Okay, so then we have The Boy.
Yeah, I've only seen the original of this one. Have you seen the sequel?
I did see the sequel, and I don't want to, you know, spoil what it is, just in case. But I love the original. I think it's a very underrated horror picture from the 2000s and 10s. You know, one of my favorites of that decade, actually. And I think that it's you can't continue that. I think that the story within it and just like the twist is very much like isolated to that one movie. And what they did with the sequel was like they kind of undid a lot of that, and it doesn't make sense really. And even as what it was, it just didn't work. It wasn't a very good sequel.
Oh my God, you're making me remember. I did see the sequel.
Katie Holmes.
It bored the shit out of me. I completely forgot that I saw it, but I was remembering. Yeah, you're right. They undid things.
Didn't you watch it after we did the podcast?
I think so. Yeah. I'm just remembering, I think I wrote a Letterboxd review for it. Yeah, no, it was not fun. Not a fun time. So I can't even remember. No, it's done. The first one, I agree with you. Like, I even kind of like put it to the back of my head as like not a great film. So when I heard that this sequel was coming up, I was just kind of like, ugh. And then I was like, I went back and I watched the original, and I was just kind of like, what was my problem? I actually really kind of enjoyed this. It's like a great short story put up on film. Like, I'll take it. Yeah.
I think it's
not great in the grand scheme of things, but like it was a great experience. Like I don't regret sitting through it. It's done. It's done. Yeah. Put it to bed.
Yeah. Yeah. And that does not speak to the quality of that first movie. It's just like this is a one and done. This is a standalone film that they unfortunately
the same reason why I don't want The Substance 2, you know. You said all you needed to say with the first one.
This will be an interesting one. Carrie. So just for those listening / watching, we've got the original. Yeah. We've got the TV movie. Actually, no. The Rage Carrie 2 came next.
There's that. Yeah,
late 90s.
That's true.
Then the TV movie, which was supposed to be a miniseries, and then we have the Julianne Moore as Margaret White remake.
Yeah. Chloe Grace Moretz and our girl Judy Greer as the gym teacher.
Oh, I forgot. I just forget she's in that because it's just like it's such a like. How
they gave her so little to
take like such a great like role for Betty Buckley in the original, and just like the performance, and then like let's just like take all the piss out of it and just like have them like try so hard to reenact this scene without any of the flavor at all, and put that on Judy Greer, like poor Judy Greer.
Yeah. That said, I do like the attention it brings to the original, because anytime they I don't need a sequel. I didn't need a sequel to the first one. But maybe kind of like along the same lines as Black Christmas, like if there are different ways to tell the story. Like I thought there were some interesting choices made by, I think it was Kimberly Pierce was the director of the 2013 one. She did some things that were interesting. I didn't think it was completely an abomination, but it didn't satisfy. Like I didn't leave the theater going, wow, I'm really glad they did that. But does that mean I would never be able to leave the theater being glad they did that? I as long as Carrie keeps being in the discussion, I'm fine. So remake it, don't remake it, find a way.
So I don't hate the sequel. I think it's a terrible movie, and every time I watch it, I'm just like, oh, this is not good. But I think about it, and I'm for some reason I'm just happy it exists. Like I love that there is like this continuation. But then I go and watch it again. I'm like, but I would be open to like another sequel of like whether they follow that timeline or just like do another like a Halloween 2018 and we ignore all that. But I'm like, I wouldn't mind seeing that universe again. But I would prefer that than more remakes of Carrie, if that makes sense.
Where there were people shouting outside Amy Irving's like facility, like going, "We're investigative journalists.
We're investigative journalists."
And she's like, "I'll take my payment." But I'd even watch that.
And then they just throw a tampon in her hand.
I love the IP, so I will watch anything they build around it, but again, or make the movie musical. There's a great musical version of Carrie as well. Make a movie of that. I'll take it.
I hear about it all the time.
I know you do.
Okay, so much for rapid fire. Conjuring. And this is and just for, I mean, I guess we can look at it as like the Conjuring universe or just like the Conjuring series. Okay. But there is, I mean, currently of the Conjurings themselves, there's 3. There's a 4th one coming out this year, which I think they're saying is the last one. But I've heard that before.
Yes, I have. Yeah. It's the same answer for both, whether it's the Conjureverse or the Conjuring series.
Yeah.
I say no. I haven't been a fan of this series for a long time. It saddens me that it's the highest grossing box office in horror history with such mediocre movies. And they're not, the thing that makes me the saddest is that they're not all mediocre. But the bulk of them and what I've come to expect when they release, I don't look forward to them. And sitting through them is just kind of like going to jury duty. It's like I have to, just so I can have a take,
And horror genre MCU. Yeah, I was not a fan of the original. And even when that movie came out, because I saw it like opening day in the theater, and all I could think was just like, this wasn't good. At least I didn't like it. And then here we are now. So I didn't need a sequel then. I don't need one or a remake now. So
quick.
The Grudge.
That one I almost feel like, even if it's just to kind of like maybe clean it up or something, because there's only 2, right? I mean, aside from the original like Ju-on. Right?
Well, oh my god, I don't know how many Ju-ons there are, but like the Grudge, like the Sarah Michelle Gellar verse.
And
Grudge,
Amber Tamblyn now.
There is, well, not then still, but it was
in the second one.
There was Grudge 2, then there was a straight-to-video Grudge 3, and then there was The Grudge. Like they made another movie called The Grudge that came out in 2020.
Right. Oh, and I saw that one too.
Which was and that was like the right before the pandemic. Yeah. So it kind of got. I mean, the movie itself was Lynn Shay is in it. She's probably like the best thing about it, but it's kind of very forgettable, and it exists in the universe, but it's I guess like a side quel or a Gaiden as they call it, where it's sort of like it. I believe it also takes place in 2004, so it's sort of like adjacent to the first movie, and it's like the it starts with like a woman like going to the house and then leaving, and then it follows her back to America. Right. So yeah, I don't know. I think that not necessarily that it needs to be cleaned up, but I mean, if they were to make another one, like I would see it. And I don't even really like The Grudge or the franchise at all. But I think that there's potential. But if they're just going to do the same thing, because that's what the 2021 was, it was just like kind of a remake, really. I would say leave it alone.
Okay. Yeah, I'm ambivalent. I'm like, either way, I don't care. Like, make another one, and I'll probably, if it's streaming on Paramount Plus, like the last one was, I'll watch it at midnight, or don't, and I won't think about it.
Okay, so next is Happy Death Day.
This one, I'm so sad for Chris Landon because he has an idea for Happy Death Day 3, or as my oldest friend John Carlos likes to call it in his mind, he wants the headcanon to be Happy Birthday Tree, because that's her name. But I thought it was cute.
In 3D.
In 3D. There you go.
Yeah.
But he has an idea and he can't make it because everybody wants the freaky Happy Death Day fusion movie, and that's not happening either. So I don't know.
I don't know why Blumhouse would. I mean, like, I guess the sequel didn't make as much as the original, but I mean, like, these are cheap movies to make. Like, they did not have huge budgets. And I mean, like, in terms of like anything that's come out recently-ish, I mean, like the first one was 2017, so quite a while now. But in terms of like stuff that Blumhouse has released in like the last 10 years, we'll say, like, there's like a quality to these movies that's sort of like, you know, back in the 80s where just like a slasher movie would come out and then be like, okay, let's get the sequel. Let's get the sequel after that. Like I wanted at least a trilogy just to like finish it off, to give us another one. So it's sad that like they're doing what they're doing now instead of, you know, giving us like, this is the kind of IP that there is a fan base for. People want to see a concluding chapter, at least a continuation.
I would love it to be a trilogy. So I would welcome anything. That's the thing that makes me the saddest.
A trilogy.
A trilogy.
Oh my god.
Oh god.
We're sending the dad jokes home.
It sounds like toiletry. But no, because Chris Landon has such enthusiasm for a project and an idea, like I want to see what he's enthused about. So that's something I would welcome with open arms.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Then we have The Howling. Now this is okay. Firstly, we're covering The Howling next week, the original Howling. So that's next week's episode. This is a franchise that has 8 movies in it at this point, and they were all, I believe, straight to video after the third one. And like most of them were just distributed, like they're like foreign countries had the rights to them, like Australia was making them for a while. So I
like Amityville movies.
And there really is no through line past the first 2 movies. Like if you can find one, like I think that maybe the 7th one, which I never watched, which is like apparently just like the biggest piece of shit, sort of like tried to tie things together, but no, this is an anomaly, and that they've made this many, and I guess we didn't even include the Amityville in this lineup. Oh, so sad. But because we actually talked about this, because you're like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch it, and because it's on whatever streaming service you were watching it, and you're like, oh wait, this is the 2017 version, and I'm just thinking like, did they remake it? And we had to look this up. There's like another Howling movie.
The Howling,
which apparently is not a remake. It has nothing to do with it. They just called it The Howling.
I guess.
Yeah.
But I'd say when there's that many films, so that you can basically do whatever you want, I say take the recognizable IP and do whatever the fuck you want. Find someone who, again, is enthusiastic to tell some kind of ridiculous midnight movie werewolf story, and I will stream it or watch it or go buy, whatever. That's fun. Yeah.
I don't want a remake. I can see, and they would probably do that. They would take like the Dee Wallace character, and just do a whole version of that in like 2020s if they did it right now. I don't want to see that. I would much rather have a sequel to that, and they don't have to make it a sequel to Howling 2. Excuse me. Which is an amazing movie. Like, it is one of the best. It's terrible. It's terrible, but in the best way possible. It's very like tonally different from the first movie.
Very.
But I would say, make a direct sequel to the original, and kind of like, and I don't want to spoil it, but like the way the movie ends, like that would be some like interesting lore for someone like 40, 50 years later, whatever, to like stumble upon and like want to investigate that, or investigative journalists.
We're investigative journalists.
Killed.
Yeah.
Or to
Exploring that,
2018. She says it in 2018. They're dead by kills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the same night, but
It's the same movie.
No, I'm just trying to think like what character from the Howling would they go back and
we'll have to discuss that in the next pod.
Exactly. Yeah. And who knows? Maybe we'll change our mind after we watch it.
Maybe
This doesn't need a sequel at all. Just leave it alone.
Yeah, right. Or give me Howling 14, like 15, 16, 17. Like just keep making them.
Faces of Death.
The more ridiculous, the better. There are a few franchises on this list where I'm just kind of like, keep them coming.
Yeah.
The crazier, the better.
Yeah. Well, with that said, I know what you did last summer.
No.
You do realize there's one
know.
coming out this year.
And I don't care. It's fine. I know people are excited. Good. I'm not trying to harsh anybody's buzz. I'm just saying, don't invite me. You don't want me there. I'm going to be just waiting.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. I can't wait to see it. I'm not expecting a whole lot. I'm just feeling like it's going to be a Scream 5 situation.
Right.
But I mean, like, I've always preferred the sequel. I still know. I think they're both on par for me. I love the Sarah Michelle Gellar of the original. The sequel is way more camp, and that's what I think the franchise should be. I don't think that that's the direction that this new movie is going to go in, just because there's so many people who are vocally hating on I Still Know. So I feel like they're probably going to lean more towards whatever the tone of the original was. The third one, I mean, that could just burn in hell as far as I care.
I've shared that much before.
But I don't know what they're doing. Like, I'll see these movies as long as they come out, and hopefully, like, rather like with longer gaps in between. I don't need like a new I Know What You Did movie every year. But yeah, I mean, for the time being, like, I'll keep seeing them. So yeah, keep making sequels.
Okay.
Yeah.
If it hits and there's something kind of like that makes it into the mainstream consciousness, so people who haven't seen the movie like kind of know a moment or something, I hope that in the Scary Movie sequel, requel, whatever they're calling it, that's coming up, that they reference it, because that's what I like best about I Know What You Did Last Summer, is watching Scary Movie make fun of it.
Oh my God, we hit a boot.
Exactly. I laugh every time.
Jeepers Creepers. So right now there are 4. I believe that the first 2 were theatrical, 3 and 4 were straight to video or streaming or whatever. I have not seen the 3rd one, but I did see the 4th.
And I've only seen the first 2, because I had no interest in investing any further after that. I was a huge fan of the first one before I knew everything I knew about the director. But the movie itself, I thought it was, again, like such a great isolated thing. And I love the fact that they restricted themselves by, like, he only feeds every however many years it is. And I'm like, okay, so there can't be a sequel. Then they made a sequel because they're just like, well, it's the last day of those 7 days, or however many days that he feeds. And I'm like, oh, and then I watched it because I'm like, someone told me it's like a Bellamy video, which is like softcore. Well, not softcore, but like, it's Euro porn from like 20 years ago. And I'm like, okay, well, I'll watch it for that. And I watched it, and even that wasn't working for me. I was just kind of like, everything that I loved about the first movie is gone. So what was the 4th?
Yeah.
Like?
I mean, it's just really bad. I couldn't even describe it. It's very low budget. Narratively, there's like, I couldn't even follow it. And there's just like long bits of just like nothing, and just characters who are turn out to be like, it's just hard to follow, and it's not fun. And it just like becomes one of those movies where we're watching characters like move from room to room, and like, oh my God, there's scary stuff happening. And I think I liked the first one when it came out in theaters initially, but like since I've gone back and watched it again, I think it has a really solid first half. And then at a certain point, it's just sort of like, it runs out of steam. And I don't even remember just the school bus, and it's kind of gay. So that's the.
But not enough. It should have been gayer.
Gayer.
But no. With that, I'd say every time I see an item, when I saw that the third one was coming out, and then when I saw the fourth one was coming out, I would always sneer and just kind of go, oh, ick, and I just it's done. Kill it.
My Bloody Valentine, which I mean, just there's the original and there's the remake, 3D.
Yeah. I would love to see another one. Again, just as a kind of like benchmark of like what era are you in? What are you going to offer this story? I'm not a huge fan of, the remake. And I like the original. But yeah, I'd like to see almost as a totem,
I would love to see a sequel that's set in like 1985, or just like somewhere close to the original was 81, right? So like set it in the 80s, make it look like it's in the 80s, and I'm talking about like really make it look like it's in the 80s, not these like Netflix shows that come out and be like, this is the 80s, and it's just like that is the no. Let's do a sequel, and because this is something that could have been a franchise. This could have been the Miners franchise.
The way the first one ends, the way the original ends, it feels like, oh my gosh, so what's going to happen next? It almost feels like episodic. But whatever. But if they did a sequel, a requel, a remake, a reboot, whatever, I'd be down for it.
But I would much rather have like a period piece sequel than something set in like 2025 and like, oh my great uncle was in this. Like, no, I don't. Stop with this legacy bullshit. Just go back in time. Orphan. So far there is the original and there's the prequel.
Yeah, I've only seen the original. I haven't seen the prequel. I heard good things, mixed things about it.
Well, there's a third one coming out. I don't know if it's another prequel or a sequel. Here's the thing. So the guy who did the prequel and who's doing the new one is the same guy who did The Boy and the sequel to The Boy. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't want to speak negatively, but I haven't liked, like, if he did the original Boy, like, great job.
Sure.
But I didn't agree with the second Orphan being a prequel. Like, in general, I don't love the idea of prequels. Like, unless you're going back and somehow making us like look at whatever the first one was differently, or just like revealing something in a way. And even then it's hard to do that. We've talked about that, like, the Texas Chainsaw beginning and Pearl, we don't really look at as a prequel because that's sort of like its own story. It's almost like a spin-off in a way. But with this, they just sort of like, there's a lot of meandering. There's a lot of time wasted of just sort of like trying to line the pieces up so it can make sense with where it lands for the next movie to be the original. And I feel like all of that stuff made it boring because it was just predictable. It was things that we knew. And there is a twist within the story, which I actually really appreciated. I thought it was a great twist, but then they didn't really know what to do with it because once it's revealed, it just sort of becomes like, okay, how do we wrap this up? How do we make it so the pieces line up with the next one? And I think that with what the twist was, they could have easily made that a sequel. We could have seen, like, at the end of the first Orphan, like, she's supposedly drowns in the ice or under the ice, but it's just like, so what? So did Jason, like have her crawl out and then just like, what family am I going to go torment next? Like, so in that regard, like, just make sequels just because, that can go on for a while. We could see a few out of that.
Yeah. You really paint yourself into a corner with a prequel and it's hard to do one well. Yeah. But with this, in this case, I will say just for the creators and the people behind it who are, like passionate about like making sequels or requels or prequels or whatever. When I saw the original, I remember I thought, oh, that's interesting. I haven't seen that story told yet. And then it kind of fell by the wayside. So I am happy that it's kind of getting a breath of life. That said, I was surprised when I found out that there was another movie coming out that was part of that continuity. I was like, oh, really? Didn't we say everything we needed to say? Again, like a great short story on film is the first movie. So I don't need any more, but I'm not angry that they're making another one. I need to catch up to know how I feel about it, but I'm not passionate. Yeah, I'm just meh.
Poltergeist. So
this is tough.
There's 3, and then there's the remake. Was there another one that I'm like a TV movie?
There was actually a series for a while, I remember. I think it might have been a mini series, but I remember selling the DVDs of it, and I never watched it because nobody ever bought. I didn't sell the DVDs, I stocked them. I don't remember anybody ever buying them. But yeah, no, it's the first three, and then the remake, which the remake just vomit. But I love the original trilogy because it's the most inappropriately named franchise, I think, that's had that level of success and influence over the genre, because it's not about a poltergeist. Like it has some underpinnings and some characteristics of a poltergeist in the beginning, but ultimately, like, it's about this evil spirit that abducts a little girl, takes her to another realm, and I'm like, oh, that's not a poltergeist. Okay, whatever. But so it's just like it's kind of gross. At that time, contemporary kind of misrepresentation, but fairy tale-esque, therefore, story of this family and what it's like to have a second sight or abilities and things like that. And I think it's ridiculous, but fun. So I love that trilogy. I don't know where you go. Who's still around? Who's part of that continuity? We can tell the story without having to address, like, Carol Ann not being around anymore. Tangina's not around anymore. Was Jo Beth Williams going to do it all alone? Like, whoa.
Nancy Allen and
Nancy Allen and Jo Beth Williams playing sisters. I mean, and Laura Flynn Boyle, yeah. So there you go, the women of the family. And I like those actresses. So if they did it, I'd be like, okay, let's see what they do.
I mean, I feel like the story of Poltergeist is basically like it's every Conjuring movie. It's every haunted house family moves into a house movie that has come out in like the last 15, 20 years. So like I don't need a I didn't even see the remake. I think a television series might be interesting, but you said that one already exists and it wasn't all that. So I'd say leave it alone.
Yeah, or give me my Jo Beth Williams, Nancy Allen sister thing.
Yeah,
they're gonna trap the poltergeist once and for all. Everybody's like, so many people are dead from it. Like, is the problem? Like, what do you do? So I don't know. Give me a graphic novel. Do that. Yeah. You can tell any story you want.
Just
that
like
way.
CGI Tangina in there, just her spirit.
No, it's happened too many times. It needs to stop. It's so disrespectful. Anyway, go on.
The Ring. So not including the Japanese series, because I don't know how many there are there, but
there's a few.
Yeah, and then we have like The Ring, Ring 2, and then there's The Rings, which I never saw.
I did.
I'm personally, I think this is done. This was a very 2000s thing, and I think that it, similar to The Grudge. I mean, they are kind of similar in a sense of what they did, but I mean, like, I feel like with The Grudge, at least there's like, that's a very generic scenario with like, like a haunted house situation. This is like, we're dealing with like outdated technology of just like this videotape. What are they going to do? It's going to be like 2025 and some kids go to stay with their grandma and they're like, what's this? I've never, a VCR, a VH.
Well, they
don't even call them VC. No one knows what a VCR is.
VHS players. Yeah, I know.
They just call them
VHS.
VHSs.
And I'm like, okay, you've just shown your youth, child.
But,
no, I feel like it was over with the second movie. I revisited all three movies pretty recently, like I think over the holidays, and reminded myself, kind of like with The Boy, how good the first one is. I thought, oh man, this is really effective. I don't think it's perfect, but effective and memorable. And then I watched the second one. I was like, oh my god, I saw this like 3 times when I was living in a town in the middle of nowhere doing like theater, regional theater. And I guess I was just bored and I just kind of wanted to see anything that was horror. But and then I saw Rings and it's oh my god, what a waste of time. So it's done. Kill it.
Unless they bring back Adam Brody's character from like his 2-second appearance.
Okay. Everything I've said, if I said to kill anything prior or anything after, if Adam Brody is in it, I will watch it. Reinvigorate any franchise if Adam Brody is in it.
They should just make a cinematic universe where Adam Brody plays himself and he just goes, transports from like horror franchise to horror franchise, like showing up. And he's just like this background character, but that's the gimmick, is like he's actually has to save the day.
Oh, he's so dreamy. So dreamy.
Silent Night, Deadly Night. Apparently, there's like a remake in the works.
Yeah.
But it feels like
Another one?
when I hear that, it just sounds like, why is this not a bigger thing that more people are talking about? I don't think it's going to be like a big theatrical thing.
Okay.
I think it's just going to be like maybe a streaming, whatever.
Okay.
I don't know. There's what, like 6 movies in this thing now?
I know for sure there are 4 sequels, and then there's the original remake that was just called Silent Night. I don't believe there was a sequel or movie 6, but like in the continuity. But even the continuity, like, it's not continuity. Like, eventually it's just kind of like, well, it's a fucked up Christmas movie, so let's put, kind of like Hellraiser, you know. So let's just put like Silent Night, Deadly Night, and just put whatever number we're on. And then, but that said, kind of like with Howling, get batshit, go for it. Put crazy directors in there, make midnight movies for the rest of my life that are called Silent Night, Deadly Night 22. I want my Silent Night, Deadly Night 22 because it was batshit from the get-go, and the more they tried to connect it, the more batshit it was, and then the more they tried to just go away from it, the more batshit it got. So just, have fun, kids. Get in the sandbox, throw some sand. How do I love the franchise.
I know you do, and I don't. I say leave it.
Okay.
Sinister. Sinister.
Yeah. You go first.
I think leave it. I mean, like, there's aspects of the original that I liked.
Yeah.
But okay, I'm a little conflicted because I do think Bagul is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Bagul is cool.
That's the T-shirt.
Yeah.
And you just got like a diagonal Bagul with a thumbs up on the back of the T-shirt. Stay in school.
Bagul. It's like the in Mean Girls when she's saying like great and cool, but she says gruel. But it's just like, what do you want for breakfast? And she just like says a bagel and then I don't know, something that gruel. Gruel. I'll have a porridge, a bagel or porridge.
Porridge, please. But anyway, okay. Because I agree with you. There were things about the first movie that worked, but there were also things about it that didn't. Like we covered that, right?
Yeah.
And the second movie, I don't need more.
It was gross. There's like that rat thing that I didn't like. But yeah, I mean, I think that it just stand alone. Leave it alone.
Yeah, leave it alone.
Yeah. Next we've got Sleepaway Camp.
Seen the first 3. Still want to see, was it Return to Sleepaway Camp, the one that actually has our actual Felissa Rose as Angela coming back again,
and cousin brother,
yeah.
Ricky, is that his name?
Yeah, my memory, it's bullshit, but
he actually Camp. That actor he commented on the podcast. I guess he watched the entire Sleepaway episode, and he was just like was talking about, like, I forget what he said, but it was just like gave us a little like behind the scenes thing, because in response to how Angela was like sometimes like just did not talk at all, but then other times was like very loquacious as I said. So he was like commenting on like the directors, like I don't remember what it. See if you can look it up. Jonathan.
I have a vague memory of that. Yeah.
Is it Jonathan Tiersten playing Ricky?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. I don't know.
Yeah. So I feel bad.
My memory. Cool. No, but we've talked about a lot of movies and a lot of water under the bridge since we had that pod. So anyway, but Sleepaway Camp, I need to catch up. I need to do my due diligence and watch 4 and watch Return, and then whatever they do, I'm gonna watch. It doesn't mean it's gonna be good, but sure.
I mean, I say leave it alone. I think the original is such a immortal gem. The Strangers, which
leave it alone.
Yeah. but we're
Don't
already
even release the next 2 movies.
It's already happening. Terrifier. There's currently 3. I've only seen the second one.
And I've only seen the first 2. I haven't seen 3 yet. It's on like Scarebox or something like that, once a streaming platform that I do not know that I can get a free trial for, and I can just watch it for free.
Yeah.
And I keep meaning to do it, but I have to keep postponing it because there are other things getting in the way. And it's like, well, I don't have the time to get a free trial and watch that movie and try to get as many other movies in as possible. So it keeps getting postponed. I will watch it. From what I hear, everybody's still rooting for Damien Leone to really nail it. He hasn't quite yet. But especially returning to them, once I know what to expect, I think in my initial sittings, I was a little like, oh, really? And the more I return to them, the more I'm just kind of like, if I were in third grade right now, I would totally dig these movies. If this were my gateway to horror, like this is like scratching that same itch that the Freddy and that inch. You were inching, but that Freddy, it's scratching that Freddy itch. That I don't even mean like Wes Craven level, like Freddy content. When I was in third grade, I was content just to see Freddy's Nightmares, which was a hideous television series that had Robert Englund being the Rod. What's his name? Serling. Like introducing the scary thing. And so, I want to see more. I want to see where he goes with the character, with the weird logic, if you can call it that. The world. I'm interested. How about you?
Yeah. Well, so just having seen 2, it's not really my jam, but I really did love, like, stylistically what the movie was. Really, I mean, could have been not a 2 hour and 15-minute long movie, whatever it was. Could have probably been 90 or 100. So I would love for them to be a little bit more streamlined. But I think that, I don't know if the 4th one, which is already kind of in the works, is going to be the last, or he's going to do another one. But I mean, I say, like, let Damien Leone finish whatever the trajectory is of like 4 or 5 films, and then like, leave it alone. I think, like, let it just have its initial Saw run, we'll say, up until Saw 3D, and then don't go back and like, well, we got another idea. Just have a nice little 4 or 5 film franchise.
I hope he retains the rights so he can remain in control of whatever future it may or may not have. That's what I would like. Because that's another thing is, it's really rough edges, but I am actually kind of endeared by them because I see movies that have such finesse to them as far as the filmmaking is concerned, just from a technical standpoint. And then there's just no beating heart. And I feel like this has blood coursing through it. I like what he's done so far. And I want to see more. So there you go.
The Thing.
Oh boy.
Which I guess this includes Thing from Another World, John Carpenter's The Thing, and then 2011's prequel.
Or not. But I don't want it remade.
No.
And I don't want... The prequel was a bad idea that we all thought going in was a sequel, or at least I did. I didn't know it was a prequel going in. So when I found out, this is already... that was the most interesting thing about it. And then the movie just kind of...
They marketed it as a remake. And then it's just like, no, it's a prequel. Surprise prequel. But... we talked about this in the Thing episode, and we talked about the requel, the Halloween 2018 of the Thing, and I mean that we recorded that like 2-3 years ago at this point. So I don't know if like your opinion has changed or anything, but I mean, having seen kills and ends and all that, I mean, I think that I would. The Thing is just a masterful movie, and for that to be like a standalone thing, or just, even though it's not, but you can still look at it as one. Like, I think in any scenario where you brought back Kurt Russell or Keith David, I mean, like, there's definitely a novelty to that, but like, would it be good? I'm thinking, let's just leave it alone, because at this point, I would have rather it had like an 80s style franchise, like an Alien thing, continue on with the characters. And that's not happening now. Unless, I mean, like, I really liked Alien Romulus. So, I mean, like, maybe if, like, they gave it to someone like Fede Alvarez and see what he could do with, like, a Thing sequel, but it would have to be a sequel. I don't want a remake of anything.
I'd prefer, if it were a sequel, I'd prefer it, that the only thing that connects it in a kind of Romulus-esque way is just like the world and the threat. like keep the thing and
Yeah.
keep kind of like what the requirements are. So put us maybe in the north instead of the south.
Yeah.
But because I don't want, you know what I really don't want is I don't want to know the answer at the end to which one of them is, or are either of them even infected. I don't.
Or are
I
they
like
alive still? You know.
yeah, I like no. Yeah, exactly. I like not knowing. I like the ambiguity, and I think it ends perfectly.
Yeah.
So trying to provide an answer to that question would be a failure right off the bat. So new characters, same universe.
I agree.
That's the only way I would accept it. Yeah.
I agree. I don't need to see old man Kurt and Keith.
No, still in the standoff.
Or even like,
be
you know, say they
hilarious.
survived and like somehow were taken home. Like, I don't know. I don't need to see them. Like, I've waited for this for 40 years. You know, like, I don't know.
Right.
All right. So, urban legend. Currently there is
Sequel,
3.
sure.
Yeah.
I don't need a remake.
No.
It's fine. It is what it is. Don't remake it, but a sequel. I'll take it. Sure.
Yes, but with the condition that Rebecca Gayheart is in it, and not just like a 2-second cameo at the end. Like, she needs to be in it.
So requel then.
No.
Because requel, then she would be kind of like the Jamie Lee Curtis in the
Well, I mean, it could still be a
Campbell
sequel.
in
I mean, well, if you want to ignore the third one, has nothing to do, which I've never seen, has nothing to do with the 2 that came before it. But the second one is a sequel to the first one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I would take more. Whatever.
Yeah.
Just keep the continuity going. There aren't so many films that you could get lost in the continuity. So yeah.
Wrong Turn.
Okay. They tried to reboot the franchise with that thing that everybody thought was a remake. Mm-hmm. What was it? A January ago, like a year ago. And
Oh no, this was like 2021.
Was it 2 years ago?
This is like 4
okay.
years
So it was
ago.
like many years ago. Oh my god, it's
Four.
so recent to me.
I know like the last.
Okay.
Since 2019, like, how is time?
What
gone
is
by
time?
then? Yeah.
I only just saw it recently. I only saw it like this past year when it was streaming on Paramount Plus, and I remember thinking, "Oh, they're not." Oh, and I was actually really kind of into it. And I know a lot of people were disappointed because they were like, "Where's my wrong turn?" It was like the season of The Witch, but I thought it was well done. That said, nobody liked it, so they're not going to do that again. I'm done with that continuity. Every movie. The only sequel that I like is the second one. That's it.
I say kill it.
You?
Kill it.
Yeah.
Okay.
You tried.
The X trilogy, or I mean, here's the thing. Ty West has teased that there are more ideas.
I'm nervous. Because X was so good. Pearl was so much better than it had any business being.
Yeah.
and then Maxine was fine. I mean, but the more I watch it, the more disappointed and kind of bummed I get about the end, and in particular. And I think I said in the pod that we recorded about it before, if Ty West wants to kind of like make good on the franchise by supplementing it with something that's going to kind of like solve the problem of Maxine for me, you know, my perceived problem with it, I'm game, but am I enthusiastic about it? Am I like, yeah, no. I'm just kind of like, no, just do something else, Ty. I think this is a sign. You need to move on.
No, I agree with you. And I think that, you know, there's obviously a lot that has plagued Maxine. I mean, it was just like X and Pearl were very unprecedented. And I don't think that anyone knew that it was going to be what it was. So, you know, by the time Maxine came around was a thing, it was just like there was a lot of what felt like studio meddling. I mean, there's like 50 producers listed on that thing in the credits. So I don't know how many hands were in the cookie jar making that movie, but it felt like a lot of ideas that just like, it was just too much. And kind of lost the simplicity of what the first 2 were. So yeah, if like he can do something, you know, and I guess like the natural, progression would be a story set in the 90s. I like with Maxine, that could be interesting. Like I'll check it out. I'm curious, but I'm not enthusiastic.
Same. I'd rather see what other stories he has to tell about people who are not connected to that universe at this point. That's what I would really like to see.
Cool.
So
Right. Yeah. Anyway, that is all we have for the preview of this episode. If you want to check out our thoughts on other franchises such as Final Destination, Psycho, Scream, The Big Three, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Halloween, and much, much more, head over to my Patreon and subscribe at the Freddy Krueger tier, and you will get to see the rest of this episode. Otherwise, thank you for watching, thank you for listening, and we will be back next week with The Howling.